Okay, Sistas fans, I hate to say it, but this episode was in my opinion, a major step down from last week. And if I remember correctly, I think I gave last week's show a 9 out of 10, but this week, oh boy, this was a stinker. It takes a village, and man, oh man, even a village was not enough to save this episode from the score of a 3 out of 10. The first half was really slow, but then after the commercial break, I'm like, you know what though? They haven't even gotten the baby shower kicked off. I'm pretty sure once the shower starts, this, first half build up will be worth it. And not really. I feel like, if you watched the last 7 minutes or so, you pretty much got the best you're going to get from the episode, which was Gary's entrance and just starting nonsense. I think he didn't even come in. It's like the 9:54 mark or 9:56, but Karen's speech during the shower was kind of nice and addressing Fatima, and then her and Fatima kind of getting along, which as an isolated couple of scenes, it's great. But folks, we all know how this goes. How many times have we seen Karen being nice or making an attempt, but then it doesn't last very long? Now, I would like to say, hey, I hope things moving forward are actually better than how they went in this episode towards everybody. But hey, only time will tell. I'm not going to dwell on it, but it is what it is. So I did my episode live stream directly after the show, and the title in all caps was "Skip This Episode." And to be clear, you could easily skip this episode. I feel like barely anything of consequence took place. Spoiler alert, the only big things, Damani seems like the perfect candidate for Sabrina to use as a sperm donor, which was a very awkward conversation in the middle of a busy bank, by the way. Karen is carrying a set of girls. Both babies are female. So Zach is excited. Aaron is excited. Gary pops up at the end. As expected. We get a very unnecessary scene involving a gray pubic hair. I will leave it at that, and I'll talk about that scene soon enough. But I did want to talk about a particular comment I got on my live stream, and I was going to do a video on it, but I don't feel like it warrants a full video. So I'll get to the review, but trust and believe my episode review is going to be rather short because this episode was dry, stale, not much to talk about. And the comment goes, "Your advice to skip this episode definitely won't entice Tyler to reward you to keep the hype up for the show." My response: he hasn't rewarded or acknowledged me once in the 7 years of me doing this. If this one video deters him from doing so, despite the other 9,000 plus videos on his channel, then F it. Simply put, you all know I work my behind off on this channel. Obviously, it's my bread and butter. eBay the backup thing, but this is what I do. And yeah, there are some days where I do feel like unappreciated, but then there are other times where there are moments where I'm like, you know what? I do feel great. I'm grateful to be able to do what I do. Case in point, short story. 3 days ago, I just felt like really down, like, dang, it's like, I just feel like I'm not really getting anywhere. Yeah, the channel is doing all right, but I don't really feel like it has that oomph it needs to really push it to the next level. And it's like, what's the point of me doing what I'm doing? Then someone DM'd me on Instagram. It was just a person I never never really interacted with before. I didn't even know they existed, but they just said, "Hey, I just wanted to message you real quick because I'm an inspiring actor, and I've been wanting to get a role in something. And I've been looking at videos and everything I can like grab and, absorb to help me out. And I came across your video of how to apply for a job at Tyler Perry Studio. And it had the link to the acting gig application, actors access and whatnot. And I just wanted to take a moment to say I appreciate it and, wish me luck." And I just felt like, wow, it's like, even when I feel like I'm not getting anywhere, it's moments like that where I'm like, okay, what I do is important. But when it comes to like the Tyler recognition, I don't think I needed to feel validated. I feel like at this point in my YouTube career, I've been validated by numerous cast members. Been able to do interviews with a lot of them and have private conversations with them. And of course, getting that thumbs up from Tyler himself will be great, but I don't necessarily I feel like it's going to happen because of the fact that I'm honest with my critiques. But let's say if, for example, this one live stream I did last night was enough to prevent me. It's like if, okay, you know what? After Sistas season 7, I want to reach out to Mr. Carden and tell him that he does a great job with his content and promoting my shows. But then he catches wind of this one live stream, and then let's say that erases me from the quote unquote list. I don't know what to say to that. It's like, bruh, over 9,000 videos, not to mention the numerous social media posts and the blog I did before all this. It is what it is. Because I think someone mentioned this to me in reference to like Ashley Miller. I think this was around the time the Haves and Have-Nots reunion thing happened after the finale. And I think in her review of that, she was like, yeah, in terms of being invited, I probably wasn't because, I'm one of the people out here who talks the truth. I don't just sugarcoat when an episode is bad. I give the truth. And I mean, that's what I do as well. And I'm not trying to, cause any trouble between me and Tyler Perry Studios. Not that it matters, to be honest, but I have actors from various shows who have said, Jeremy, we come to you because we trust your feedback. You're not biased and you don't hate on us. Because, yeah, there are people like, oh, the acting sucks, this, that, and the third. But when you give your honest feedback, whether it's about the acting or the writing, we take that into account because we know you're coming from a good place. So I've had stars, not just these B, C tier characters, but I've had the actual stars of numerous Tyler Perry shows tell me this stuff. And if they can appreciate what I have to say and continue to watch my content, that's one thing. But if Tyler himself doesn't like my honest feedback, and that is the reason why I never get my content shared by him or, get a phone call or email trip to Tyler Perry Studios, then fuck it. Enough said. I got you all, and that's enough. So, sorry about that lengthy rant, but, I just wanted to get that out there. I want to keep it, like Crystal, I want to keep it positive. But even though sometimes my feedback or, reviews will be negative, I'm going to have a positive attitude about it because I'm going to be honest. So, again, sorry for that rant, if you want to call it that, but that's just how it is. So, let's jump into it. Now, first of all, I didn't catch this when I watched the episode as it aired, but at the beginning, they actually had a caption that said 2 weeks later. So I feel like this is probably the first time this has been addressed, but on screen, they show us the passage of time because some dialogue were like throwing me off in regards to Jordan talking to Penelope. And he's like, yeah, Andy told me weeks ago about you being under witness protection or something with the feds, but you got to tell me where you are. So basically Penelope, just calls him to interact with him and say, hey, I'm okay. I'm not pregnant anymore though. And I will say this. I think Penelope made the right move by not telling Jordan that she's no longer pregnant because she knows her brother and he would go out there and do something stupid, which would most likely lead to him getting killed. We already saw Gary run up on him once as he tried to be like a quote unquote detective, but yeah, it's not going to fly. But in any case, he does get the vote of confidence from Penelope to not just fight for Andy, but, to win the campaign. Wait, or was that Rich and Tony that did that? Yeah. So basically, Penelope feels like something's off. Andy wouldn't just dump Jordan just because. But there's a knock on the door. And I think it's from Agent Watt. We don't find out who it is, but I'm assuming that Penelope probably snuck away to make this one phone call. I don't know. I don't know if Agent Watt knows about this or not, but I don't know. But it's good to hear that, it's good to see Jordan know that his sister's okay. But at the same time, he does feel down about the complications that resulted in her no longer being pregnant. But like Penelope said, it was the wrong time. And it definitely was the wrong person she got knocked up by. I'll talk about all the baby shower stuff together. I feel like that's the smart thing to do. So Jordan, just, eating junk food, not showering. Tony and Rich come by and they're having a hard time reaching out to him, but he does text him to say, hey, the door's unlocked, because they're honking the horn, yelling and stuff. They go in, notice how toe up from the flow up he's looking. And apparently, while he's been, MIA from, his group chat with the boys and going out on the road campaigning, kissing babies, shaking hands, all that good stuff, his campaign team has been doing all that. But, hey, say what you will about Tony and Rich, but I do appreciate the fact that they, came together to get their bruh out of, just the pit of desperation, due to the fact that they just, they know that Jordan has worked long and hard for this campaign. And it's not something to just throw away simply because of Andy. Now, Jordan tries to make it seem like it's not just because of Andy, but his boys can see right through it. And they just encourage him to get back out there and, win this thing. So in the midst of that, we go over to the bank. And like I said, it really is an awkward conversation. I mean, look, I have no expertise in this specific category, but it just seems odd to me for them to just casually have a conversation about sperm donors in the middle of a bank. I'm just like, this is a financial institution, a bank to make financial transactions, not a sperm bank. So Damani has a copy of the article, which Sabrina is very flattered by. And he makes some non-subtle flirtatious remarks towards her, but he basically offers to be her donor. And she's like, so, what's like your history, health related issues in the family? Let me see your teeth. And he mentions, we can make a beautiful baby together, and I'd love to have, a child. And Sabrina's like, well, if you had the baby, but you just won't be a part of raising that baby. And he's like, well, only if you don't want me to. And I think, well, then again, I can't judge. I don't really know. I mean, when people go to the sperm bank, I guess they just do it because, like Damani said, I donated sperm back when I was in college, but obviously for different reasons, no doubt from, money and whatnot. It's just like, people who donate blood, it's like if they need a few extra bucks to pay a bill or buy groceries, they do what they got to do. But it's just one of those things where Sabrina, you have this seemingly good guy, but you just want to not be with him. But then again, I don't know. It's been 2 weeks and yet she's still with Rich. So I don't know how exactly it's. Look, she's going to go to this hospital. How many times have I said it already? She's going to go to this hospital, probably get ready for the sperm insertion, and then find out she's already pregnant by Rich. Enough said. But essentially, we have Marie, who's pissed off because she came for a meeting, yet, it's kind of funny though, because typically when she shows up to the law firm unannounced, she's pissed if Hayden and Andy don't have anything for her. But in this case, I believe she shows up because they call her over, more specifically Hayden, and she wants results. Now, Andy's head is in the clouds and she gets called out for it, basically mentioning how today is her friend's baby shower, and Marie rightfully calls out, well, look, when I first, you probably have your head in the cloud. What, you thinking about going to Jordan or whatever? And like, no, it's the baby shower. And it's like, remember what I told you before I hired you as my attorney for my case? 3 steps ahead. And I'm just saying to myself, this is exactly why I think Hayden deserves a promotion more than Andy. Now, Marie even goes so far as to say that Andy is a better attorney than Hayden. But at the same time, she just doesn't have her head in the game. And like, say again, I said it like 50 times. Say what you will about that slime ball Hayden. He keeps his head in the game. He's when he's at work, he's at work. Is he multitasking at times? Yes, but at the end of the day, he gets the job done. Andy, I'm just sitting there like, you got this billionaire client, and you literally, honestly go, yeah, I'm thinking about something else right now while you're in the middle of an important meeting. But basically, Hayden has some account information showing that Roger, had money transferred through various accounts to his his secretary or assistant, and he believes that this could be grounds of the affair. But, of course, there's no concrete proof of cheating, essentially, thieving and extortion. But, Hayden promises to get on top of that. So Andy just gets up and leaves. And then, of course, Marie wants Hayden in the office right then, right there. Now, aside from that, he does come home and Tamara like pushes up on him, lucky bastard, and she finds a gray pubic hair in his mouth, and it's like this was one of the most uncalled for moments in the episode. I'm sorry, I just like my stomach turns just like thinking about that. She tries to, investigate the situation, interrogate him, if you will. But Hayden flips the script and goes, wait a minute, how do I know you haven't had somebody, in this house when I'm at work getting it on? I'm thinking to myself, Gary, if you only knew, Hayden, if you only knew. But basically, Hayden shuts her up by saying, well, you've been acting shifty for like the past month. Let me see your phone. Yeah, if you let me see that phone, then maybe I'll tell you something. But until then, be quiet, mind your business. So from there, that's pretty much it in terms of anything not related to the baby shower. Now, the baby shower is happening. Pam and Maurice are there early setting up. And yeah, I do appreciate the hustle. But, the Roots to Riches banner was a bit much. It's like, come on, Pam, for real. So from there, Zach and Fatima are getting ready for the festivities. And Fatima feels awkward about the whole thing. And Zach is like, why? And I'm just like, Zach, what have the writers done to you, man? I mean, none of this is conventional. I do like that he's honest about it too. It's like, look, I mean, I get you're feeling awkward, but look at me. It's like I'm one of two baby daddies, and me and Aaron have to stand side by side like baby daddy husbands or something like that. And it's like, no, I was like, I know it sounds weird, but I'm your husband, and I'm not even going to make heads or tails of it. There have been like at least half a dozen occasions within Zatima and Sistas that post engagement, Zach refers him to himself as Fatima's husband. And I'm thinking to myself, you might say that, Zach, but based on your actions towards Karen, it doesn't seem like Fatima is the one you're married to. So, Fatima does agree to go to this thing. And Miss Lisa has a great talk with Karen as she stops by her apartment to pick her up and just encourages her about her support system. I like this scene. Because, Karen recognizes how awkward this is. It just makes you wonder if Danny did not open her mouth to Sabrina about the double baby daddy thing. Would Karen have revealed the two baby daddies during this baby shower? Or would she still have kept it under wraps? I really want to know that. Because she kept saying, like, I was going to tell the girls in my own time. And I'm thinking, like, I think Danny's biggest counter to Karen's complaint was, well, you say you would tell the truth, but what about that time you wanted to make Zach open that folder, but it was an empty piece of paper inside? Why didn't that come up again? I'm just saying. So it was a great scene between mother and daughter and, taking pictures like it's the prom. And yes, Karen is wearing an outfit that isn't a black dress. So from there, we go over to the shower. And we get some interesting character interactions, like Zach meets Tony and Rich for the first time. And, they get some insight from Zach, who is a longtime involuntary member of the sister circle, or at least to the drama that comes with them. And the best piece of advice, run. But, Sabrina's cool. I like how Zach had, despite, his relationship with most of the women in the circle, he had positive things to say about Sabrina and Danny, like especially Danny holding him down and all when he was really, with nothing, not even anything, two nickels to rub together. So I did like, despite everything, he had some positive things to say to the two men involved with the sisters. Now from there, we go over to Danny and Fatima, and they were just chatting it up about, I admire you, girl. It takes a lot of strength to come out here. But, I came because Fatima, Karen, she invited me. And Danny applauds Karen for, a little bit of growth. And I like that Danny's the one saying this, not just because of her scene with Karen in the last episode, but Danny experiencing growth from her therapy, sessions, this season as well. Now, from there, we go over to Karen giving a speech, just, addressing how awkward everything is, but just thanking everyone for being there, which I thought was great as well. Pam makes a speech too. Let me not forget Pam and Sabrina. But Andy actually arrives, and yeah, things are weird. Now, first of all, this is addressed later, like Aaron went to work and Miss Lisa said she had to leave. Why do they have these events in the middle of a work day? That's what confuses the heck out of me. It's just like when Sabrina had that birthday thing over at Andy's penthouse. Is like, y'all didn't even have time to eat cake. I think like Sabrina blew out the candles and that was it. And like Sabrina mad that everybody didn't show up for the baby shower planning. Well, Andy and Danny. And it's like, it's the middle of a work day. Like, ain't nobody got time for this. Like, we can Zoom call or something, or I don't know. I ain't got time for this. I got more important things to do. And not to mention, this is taking place in Andy's home. And like Karen says, without Andy, this event wouldn't have been possible. But yeah, Andy shows up late because, again, she had that meeting at work. And Rich and Tony give her the cold shoulder as Andy comes up to Danny and Sabrina. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, I understand these fellas giving Andy some attitude. Because, you know, she broke their best friend's heart and he's pitiful. But the thing is like, fellas, y'all are in her home. I mean, you can say, hey, Andy, and then leave it at that. But don't forget where you're standing. And a lot of people are like, why are they even there? And I'm thinking, honestly, I don't know. I mean, yeah, they are dating two of the sisters who are friends with Karen, but they really didn't have any need to be there. And if I'm not mistaken, the male characters there, you got Maurice, you got Aaron and Zach, the baby daddies, and then you have Rich and Tony, who, again, honestly did not need to be there. Now, from there, Gary wasn't invited, so I didn't mention him. But yeah, so later on, oh yeah, also, I got to give it up to Danny. She can, like, this woman, man, she could sniff out that Andy, oh, you're a spy. You're a spy, Andy. Come on now. You got to be a secret agent or something. I'm thinking to myself, if Danny only knew how close she was in terms of that description of what Andy's character has been this season, secret agent that has trouble keeping secrets. All right, so Zach gives a speech, and oh man, Zach gives a speech in regards to the gender reveal, and he's excited, and people are like, yo, that outfit he's wearing is like weird. No, it's the reveal that he has pink shirt on because of the girl. And it turns out that Aaron's undershirt is also pink because Karen is carrying two girls. And Fatima's face says it all. Like, Zach is excited. He kisses the baby bump. And then Karen kind of squeals like, Zach. And then they do a close up on Fatima's face. And I'm like, that says it all. And I just say that, you know, Fatima's a good one. Not just for coming out, but also standing by Zach physically. Like, I wouldn't have been surprised if she would have been like, you know, in the background at a table sipping on something the whole time. I wouldn't have blamed her. But no, she stood by her man. And it's just like, wow. Somebody said this in the comment section and it really hit home. Fatima must hurt because she told Andy she wanted to be the only woman having his babies. And, well, Heather had his first boy, Michael, and now Karen's about to have his first girl. And where does that leave her? Damn shame. Really is a damn shame. But in any case, from there, we have Karen's speech. And in a shocking turn, she announces that she would like Danny and Sabrina to be the godmothers to her twins or her babies. And I'm thinking to myself, I thought Andy was supposed to be your best friend. Like, I thought, I'm shocked. And I mean, look, at first I'm like, oh yeah, because, you know, the Andy and Fatima things. Like, oh, well, your new best friend, Fatima. But I'm like, well, think about Danny and everything Karen has said about Danny vouching for Zach and Fatima and it's this, that, and the third. So I am really confused why Andy was not made a godmother, but these two were. Now, Sabrina makes sense, but Danny, what in the world? But Andy gets the title of Auntie Andy. I guess that encompasses, oh, she's Auntie Andy to both of these kids, not just one. But somebody said it best on the live stream, like, you know what? Nah, it's like Sabrina and Danny, they're meant to like look after and take care of the babies. But in terms of anything financial, that's really what Andy's good for. And I'm thinking to myself, that's freaked up. I need to ask KJ how she feels or how she felt when she got that script. It's like, Andy is not a godmother? That's so much for best friend. It's like, okay, yeah, so I cut the check so you can get your new salon. I I allow you to have this baby shower in the penthouse, in my penthouse. Okay, but I'm not the godmother. Yeah, I see how it is. Dang, I ain't gonna lie. I would feel some kind of way. I would. So in any case, from there, she says she's grateful to Fatima. The fact that, we've had a rocky, dynamic the entire time, but I am grateful for you because I see how you helped get Zach in line when taking care of Michael. So that just shows me that the role you'll play in terms of my children will also be, great to have in terms of this entire village here. So I just love the fact they have this moment. And from there, they're near the elevator. Miss Lisa leaves, and like, dang, she leaves right before Gary shows up. Aaron is mentioned to have left, to go back to work as well. I was hoping he would have been there, but nope. And from there, we have Karen and Fatima talking about the Andy situation. How for the past couple of weeks, she's been really strange. She's been like off the radar. Nobody's been able to contact her. I guess behind the scenes, her and Gary, Gary has been making her do stuff like, come here, wear this engagement ring. I didn't notice the engagement ring, but yeah. So Gary shows up and announces the wedding, and everybody's invited. And it's funny because before he announces the wedding, Cheeto is having a blast with this role. He is. And he just starts clowning everybody. Everybody's throwing shade. He has clapbacks. Oh, you're talking about Sabrina? Wow, I can't believe I'm being judged by the bank robber. And then Rich decides to step up like, hey, man, what's up? What's up? And then from there, Fatima says something, and he calls her a B word, and Zach steps up. And it's funny because I think even Karen tries to pull Fatima back before, she does something to Gary. So it's funny how everybody kind of has their, each other's back. And Andy's just standing there looking like the corpse bride, like she doesn't have a reaction to anything. But then it's funny when he mentions the wedding, and then Fatima's like, what dumb bitch would you get to marry your ass to, who did you manipulate to marry you? And he just grabs Andy and pulls her in, and I'm just like, wow. And that's the end of the episode. So yeah, this episode was dry. It really was. It's very skippable, and that's it. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.